Welcome back to the Sunday Roast. Round 20 has just been completed. It's been a hell of a round for the 100k, for the ladder, and just for footy in general. I'm here with Dobe. Dobe, how are you, sir?
Mate, I am unbelievable. We have had an absolute fantastic weekend. This has probably been one of my favourite weekends of footy. Lots of upsets, a lot of good markets, Jev. We had a pretty good week ourselves, so it's been good all round. What have been your thoughts on the round?
Oh, we always love it when the Blues and the Swans win in the same weekend, Das. That's the best start to it.
They beat two average sides as well.
Certain teams we love seeing lose as well. The battle of the spastics came down to the wire at the end of the round, Das. I want a bottle of wine off you. We'll get into that later. But, the ladder is absolutely crazy. We'll talk about that at the end, and we might have to re-tip again for the hook, line and sinker on Wednesday, Das, and do our ladder predictors again. But we'll start with the first round of the weekend, first game of the weekend, Friday night. Carlton beat the Pies by 17 points. Jordan De Goey kicks it first at 19-1. We watch this game together, Das. I will give you the floor.
What a performance, Jev. What a performance. We were talking about this before the game. I smelt a little bit of an upset. I could smell it. Genuinely not trying to be a nuffy on this one. I just think some teams are ripe for the picking. Collingwood have had a pretty tough couple of weeks. You know, they've played Melbourne. They played Adelaide. I know it was a few weeks ago now. They played Port Adelaide and they had a really good crack. A lot of people say it's not about who you play, it's about when you play them, Jev. And when you are the best, everyone always brings the best against you. And I just thought we had one of those nights. I still think like Collingwood could have easily won that game. It was their goal kicking that let them down in a lot of aspects of that game. But geez, Jev, I think we showed a formula on how to beat Collingwood, and we just went so hard in the middle. And it was great to see. We had to get guys like Chera out there. Obviously, he's hurt himself, but what a first half he had. Cripps was hobbling around on one leg, but it just shows to have those leaders out there, how much of a difference they make. Like, I've got this video saved, Jev. I was actually even going to flip it. But just having him in the middle, he just threw Dacos off him. Like, get out of here. He just big board him. And obviously, Jev, the one thing that I wanted Carlton to be competitive. And everyone says Darcy Moore's the best fullback. And all I was saying to all my mates, I just fucking hope Charlie kicks a bag on him. And I'll tell you what, everyone can say what they want about those little free kicks. When you get defenders spooked, you will start to grab, you will start to pull. Those free kicks are there every day of the week. He gets people so nervous. He's so athletic. And all those free kicks are there, Jev. And he converted 6 goals straight. He's a superstar. There was a lot of players that had an unbelievable performance this round. Charlie absolutely kicked off the round. I couldn't have been happy with how the Blues played, Jev.
Oh, 100%. Those free kicks, they're a bit soft, bit ticky-tack, but it's because Darcy Moore is shitting himself when that ball's in the air because Charlie is just dominating the game. And, he has to grab a little arm or a jumper, or Charlie's just going to mark another one. Like, Darcy Moore's like everyone. He doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of 90,000 at the G or everyone watching at home. He's trying his ass off. He's competing. Charlie was just too big and strong for him. And I saw a couple of Collingwood supporters, telling the Carlton supporters to calm down and all this on Insta and, telling them to calm right down. I'm thinking, that was Collingwood's best 22, Das. That was their fittest and best side. I don't think they had one injury out of that side.
True.
And you guys were missing Walsh. Who else?
We had
Harry Mackay.
Mackay. Chera went out in the first half. I'm trying to think who else we didn't have big back in. Fuck, I've gone blank.
Harry out in the first half, and then Walsh and Mackay, who you could arguably say 3 of your top 7 players.
Yeah.
And I thought you just absolutely smashed them. You were too big and strong. Oh, they were missing Bobby Hill, who isn't that much of a difference. He was a bit crook, but that was their best 22. That was nearly their grand final 22. You could argue, I know Dickie the Shark was watching with us, and he said that was Mason Cox's last game for the year for Collingwood. He goes, he does nothing for anyone anymore. And if it's, what was he saying, 20% ruck is what he gives you. It's like, just play 20% less ruck and figure out another way to win than play him. But, and then Collingwood supporters were saying, we had to come, we were due a down week after beating Port Adelaide and Adelaide. I'm like, down week is 90,000 at the G against your arch rivals Carlton. I thought Dacos got beaten up. I thought you were too big and strong for him. I don't want to overreact, but I'd be putting him back to the half-back line. I don't know if he's big enough to be a midfielder in the finals. Some guys are just too big and strong. I watched Dangerfield maul Chad Warner, Errol Gould, and Tom Papley on grand final day. It all came home to roost and got found out on grand final day. So I actually don't think that was nothing. I thought they gave a bit of a blueprint that I've said it for a while. I think the Pies, they're so good, but they go all in at stoppage. Like, we win the stoppage or you win the stoppage, and then they back their defense to win the ball back, or they're backing to go in Dacos to win the stoppage, and they're beautiful ball users. But I reckon if you beat them up around stoppage and then you get good inside 50s with not much pressure on, like, they're beatable. They're 100% beatable.
Me and you have spoken about this. I thought we took the Melbourne approach. Collingwood, as we said, Jeff, they're a very good, very flashy side, and when they can get on the outside, really good ball users. But you look who beat them up. It was Melbourne. When you have Petrarca, when you've got Viney, when you've got Oliver in there, those three big brutes in a massive contest, on those one-on-ones, those guys, they almost just look like that they were a bit timid. They went second to the footy. And when you beat them at the source, and I thought that's what the Blues try to do, like having Hewitt in there, having Cherry in there, having Cripps in there, and just trying to just work and body. Like, De Goey's still strong, but I don't think he's like your crashing back. He's like your first option explosive out. Dacos is almost like that. Pendlebury's getting a little bit older now. Like, don't get me wrong, they're all superstars, those Collingwood players, and I still think that they're probably going to win the flag, but this could be a thing that other clubs start to look at, because there's always one thing. We looked at Melbourne the other year. Remember when they were like 13-0 and Freo beat them, and then other clubs just started to go through and just pick them off. There's always little things.
There's a crack in everyone's armour. Yeah.
A little bit bigger, a little bit tougher. Like I said, to their own detriment, they were missing goals. But as a Carlton supporter, this is just what you want to see. Just the boys having a crack. And we've got a fuck ton of injuries at the moment. And it was just so good to see.
I was one of them before the game. I said Collingwood were absolute certainties. I thought, like, it was all cute. Carlton had won 5 in a row, 6 in a row, whatever. I'm like, Collingwood are certainties. And now it's, like, you'll even say yourself, Carlton were the third best team in the league for a while there. When you guys went like 1 and 6, it went West Coast, North, and then Carlton. There was a period of the year you were the third worst. And now I can't judge that Carlton team anymore. This is a completely different team. Ever since we met Pat Cripps, this is a new cunt. You spoke to him. I feel like you're just a ball of radiant energy dust, and you have brought a new life into Carlton. They'll probably thank you at the parade. But I can't judge Carlton anymore off what they were in the season. This is a completely new team, and they're just happy playing football, and they were fucking good, and they're playing finals. All the results went their way. They are playing finals. It's I reckon.
As long as we win next week, we've got St Kilda. I've actually, Jeff, I've seen us beat every side live. I reckon I've been to 10 or 11 Carlton St Kilda games. I've never seen us beat the Saints. I just want to give a quick shout before we get on to the next game, because we've got a lot to get through. Jacob Wiedering, fantastic. I know McStay, I wasn't really playing on McStay. McStay got a lot of jumps at the footy, and I thought he contested really well. But Jacob Wiedering's last month and a half has been absolutely fantastic. And also the last couple of weeks, I think Jack Martin, back in the side, we're paying him a lot of money. His calf has barely been able to hold up. I'll tell you what, it's like a bad string on a nylon guitar, Jeff. It's about to go every step. But I'll tell you what, he showed a target. He's just a medium size. He's not quite the small like Jesse Motlop. He can still roost the ball and get up the ground a little bit more. He kicked 3 goals, 1 on the game, Jeff. Good performance all round, even at quarter time, 17 points up at halftime, finished the game 17-point winners. Just went on with it 6 games in a row, Jev. It's exciting to watch.
It's fucking exciting. So I'll give
It's good for the AFL. It's good for the AFL.
Last week, Charlie Curnow paid $3.60 to kick 6 against West Coast, and he kicked 10 and was just dominant. He paid 21-1 for 6, 9-1 for 5. You called him kicking 5 on the pod. I wasn't so sure. We'll get to that a little later. That's even funny. Jack Martin for 3 was 14-1, and Jeremy Howe, who kicked 3 in the last quarter, I don't think you could bet on him for 1. Nah, couldn't even bet on him for 1. Anyone else? McStay kicked 2.
No, there was no really big touches. Nick Newman had 27. They might have been paying a little bit, but he sometimes pops up.
And disposals, Nick Newman for 25. Was a nice $3.15. That would have been a nice collect. Little Nick Newman into Jack Martin into Charlie Curnow 6. You would have made some serious kanga there, Dars. Next game, We'll get back to the ladder on the Blues later, but yeah, great win. Next game. Geelong versus Freo down GMHBA Stadium. Geelong were $1.10 favourites and lose to Freo by 7 points. And probably one of the shocks of the weekend. Freo have beaten them twice in 2 years in a row down at GMHBA. It's actually unbelievable. Das, talk to me.
I watched this whole game. I watched all the I think I've watched every game this weekend, which has been really nice, Jev. But I messaged the group on the way at the start of this game, and I'm like, I know it's only the start of the second quarter, but this is the hardest I've seen Freo cracking in weeks. And they are like weak as water. And they just kept hanging around. The last quarter, Hawkins ended up kicking his second goal. You're like, all right, here they go. They're going to roll away with it. And they were just... looked like they were tired, like they were missing tackle. You know, when everything's going wrong. Oh, the ball bounced the wrong way. And then like you're holding onto the ball like there was a turnover. And then Freo would just kick a couple in a row really quickly. And they just fucking held on.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a pretty game to watch. Like it was a good contest, but it wasn't definitely a pretty game. Like the next game we'll talk about, that was a great game to watch. But they just got it done in the end. And they showed some footage earlier. I was watching. There was like 3 missed tackles up on the wing, and then they end up getting the ball forward. Then Michael Frederick kicked that goal like Ablett, like Jason Ackermanis, like the same pocket. You take your pick. That was flush, and then they kicked another one with Schultze later after that. And they just dominated like that back end of the footy. And I cannot believe that they've won by 7 points. And Geelong are now outside the 8, I believe.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, they are.
They're
it was crazy.
To the 8. And I was thinking about this the other day. So, do you find this sort of funny? So, Hawkins did his hammy, Blitzarves did his hammy in this game. And then later in the night, Franklin and Dane Rampy do their calf. And I'm just thinking, for the old bodies, like the 30-year-olds, like playing in a grand final and backing it up the next year, like it's taken to round 20, but like old guys that played deep last year are finally starting to look a bit older, break down a little. I know the Shark, he reckons Pendlebury's starting to look a bit older, like he's not even moving the same he was the start of this season.
I think this is the first time he's ever looked like that. I can't remember what game it was they lost. He had like 3 turnovers, Pendlebury, and I was like, that's the first time I've ever seen him miss kicks. And I just think the last couple of weeks, he's a little bit slower. I agree.
Slower. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets just a rest week soon, like just has a full week off.
They've got a tough run.
Yeah,
I know they're going to win on top, but...
So, yeah, some odds for this game. There isn't much to bet on. I know Josh Corbett was a nice, what was he, to kick 2?
Yeah, 2 goals, 625. Michael Frederick for 2 goals was 340. I forgot to mention Tyson Stengel, first goal of the game was at $11. But apart from that, there wasn't really many big touches. You got Sarong Brayshaw and Luke Ryan, they're all getting 28, 29 disposals. They were sitting around like your $2 mark. But I'll tell you what, Jev, I had on the personals, I had Tom Stewart for 40 touches. He had 9 in the first 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's going to get 48 touches. No, he didn't. He only ended up with 25. But
Jeremy Cameron, 1 goal, 5. I didn't see much of this game. Was he having good set shots and just missing?
Yeah, he was. Now, Jev, this is another really funny one because I actually had him for 6 goals.
He's kicked 1 and 5. What did he pay for 6?
15.
He kicked 1 goal, 5. Ever since that red-headed fuck Gary Rowan knocked him out, he just hasn't been the same. His form just hasn't been there, has it? I had a couple of people had the balls to call him out of the pyramid to me. They wanted him out of the pyramid, which is a big call because he was 100% the number 1 best player in the comp rounds 1 to 10. And now people think he should nearly be out. Kick 1 goal, 5. So I think I got one more pyramid at the end of the year, I think. Geez, he'd want to find some form to stay in it by the end of the year.
On talent, he's top 10 player in the AFL, but it's not on that. It's on.
Yeah, but it's a mix of
you get a little bit of leniency.
Yeah, it's not all on talent. It's sort of a mix of form, but it's also like what you've done in the league. Like
100%.
I had St Kilda supporters asking for Mason Wood in the pyramid at the start of the year. I was just like, you're fucking kidding me if you think Mason Wood's a top 21 player. People understand Jeremy Cameron's a top 21 player. He's just not in the same form he was at the start of the year. But it's like how I don't have Max Gawn in at the moment. He's coming back in. He's 100% a top 21 player in the league. Like, he's coming back in. He just missed a couple of weeks and whatnot. So
he's a top 3 tier player.
yeah,
Max Gawn.
I agree.
And he's shown it.
Next game, let's call this the statue game because they nearly need to start building the statue now. The Giants, who were down by 24 points at halftime, how much are they down by?
29.
29 points at halftime, come back and beat the Dogs by 5 points in Ballarat off one fucking man, Das. You go first, and then I want to talk about this man.
Well, Bailey Smith, Jev, kicked the first at 41-1.
Jeez, that would have been nice.
Bond had it on a string. I mean a string, Jev. He had like 10 disposals in the first quarter and pretty much should have had a goal. Passed it basic one off to Bailey Smith. So Bailey Smith kicked the first. Pretty good by Bond. That's what you need. He hasn't been that good at the moment, has he, Bailey Smith? So it's good to get the confidence in him. It is his 100th game. And then after quarter time, Jev, they put Callan Ward to him. And then, Bond had 13 disposals in the first quarter. I think he only had 13 or 14 for the rest of the game. Callan Ward, experienced body, just one of those guys you would hate to play on him.
Just leaned on him, tough as anything.
The whole game. Like, the whole game. I hope clubs start looking at this shit because it fucking works. We'll talk about that in the Gold Coast game. And I'll tell you what, Jev, they couldn't get it forward. It was blowing a gale. Toby couldn't get near it, Jev. He could not get near it. They had a big chain of handballs in the third quarter, end to end. This is what's going to spark the Giants. Toby Green gets it 10 metres out, hits the post. He had 2 blokes on in the square, and he's just swearing. He's so filthy. Then he just injects himself into the game. He's literally ripping the ball out of people's hands, taking hangers, direct goal assist. He piles on 5 goals, Jev, and they win in one. I think this is my top 3 favourite games of the year. I think it's going to be tough to beat. I love watching the Giants. They are such a talented side from back all the way into all the way through the forward line. Their midfield's so good to watch. They couldn't do anything. Once they kicked that first goal and they were still down by 24 points, they're getting in the Bulldogs' ears. They're like, we're coming. Yeah. We're coming. And they were talking to them. They were chirping. They're like, you guys can't keep up with it. It's like, we're better than you. It was so good to watch. It was fine. They're a finals team, Jev. You don't want to face them.
It is fucked. So they've won, I think it's 7 in a row now, 6 in a row, 7 in a row. So they go into this game. They say, so it's the Swans, but they say the Bulldogs are their biggest rivalry. Ever since that prelim final, they just play cracking games. So they're down by 20. No one beats the Dogs in Ballarat. They're down by 29 points at halftime, and then Toby Green kicks 5 goals in the second half on Bontempelli, who people think is the worst. Like, not on him, but him and Bont are going head-to-head, the 2 best captains in the game, probably with Darcy Moore. It was nearly all-Australian captain up for grabs. Toby kicks 5 second-half goals to get the Giants over the line, put them a game clear of the Dogs on the ladder now, 6 on the ladder. Like, what a fucking player. I know you've been saying it, you post on the story. He is the MVP of the competition. 100%. No one means, like, this is your thing, no one means more to their team than Toby means to the Giants. Like, he is fucking him, isn't he?
There is not, name one player, he is the spark plug of that side. But the amount of times, that's why I think, look, Bont, unbelievable captain. But if you're looking at criteria for all Australian, think about where we all thought the Giants would be. What they have done to be where they are on the back of him, and everyone knows his history. Everyone thinks he's a bit of a hothead. His temperament this year has been perfect. Not only that, like the leadership he showed from round 1, Jev, where they were down by fucking Adelaide, and he just clawed them back that victory in like a 40-degree day.
And he's the only one still going,
again and again and again. And you just look at like what the Dogs done and how many close games that they've lost. I know that's not all in leadership because Bont gives it all every week, but you cannot fault this man. He should be the All-Australian captain. He's deserving of it. As soon as they're giving that captaincy, who would have thought he would have got better, Jev? Yeah. He is a freak. He's literally averaging like 21 disposals and 3 goals a game. Like 5 shots on goal. He's the most valuable player in the AFL.
How good is he going to look on All-Australian night when he gets named the captain? And it's that photo where they're wearing their vests on stage. Oh, it just... So I'm looking at his stats. 19 disposals, 5 goals. He played 10 score involvements, 126 out of 131 minutes. So basically 98% time on ground, 467 metres gained for a forward. Like, he had direct goal assist. Like, 5
But,
over 2 as well. Like, what a fucking player.
he put himself in the middle 3 times. So he went to 3 centre bounce clearances, Jev. And he literally had he had one. So he went to 3 clearances up the ground. He got 1 centre clearance, 1 stoppage clearance, and a handball out of 1.
He's fucked. So, give me some.
Remember, he plays this literally sitting at full forward. He sits in the square. He's so deep in the ground. Like, he's only working in almost like a netballer, like a goal attack. Like, that's where he works from.
Yeah,
and he's one of the best defenders. He bodies. He can play tall, small, anywhere. He's a fucking freak.
It's actually happened to a couple of. It's happened to Bont a couple of times this year. Like, Zach Butters fucked him up. Not fucked him up, but one night, Zach Butters got a hold of him, and he must have been and Paul Beatham, he must have been I'm unbelievable right now, and we've still lost. Nick Dacos got him one night. They went head-to-head in the midfield, and Dacos ended up best on, kicked 2 goals, everything. And now Toby Green has just got him as well. And, you think so, you look at Bontempelli, so he's probably the best. He's just his body size, his midfield, inside, outside, his class, his goal kicking, his leadership. But he's at the source of the ball. He can make it happen. He can insert himself on goals. Toby needs it down in the forward 50 to really get himself going. But he only gets so many chances, and he still kicked 5 and just won in the game. This is underrated how big of a win this is. If this was if this was Collingwood, and they went down to Ballarat and fucking their forward kicked 5 second half and got him over the line, people would be talking about it like he's God. It's gone a bit under the radar how big of a game this was. So I'm fucking happy for the
I'm telling you, Jev, anytime, any place, anywhere, that is the Giants. They have won at 9 different venues this year. 9.
And I'll tell you what I love. They always post a photo on Insta of a team photo after the game of them in the locker room all smiling, and Tobes always shares it on his story. And you're like, fucking oath, they're obviously that close of a team. They're going to do some damage. I hope it's not Carlton Giants first final like it would be right now, 6th versus 7th. I hope it's not that. I hope they both finish 5th and 6th so they don't play each other in a final, and they might meet later in the finals because they are just good to watch, aren't they?
2 more quick little shout-outs before I get into some stats and we go through the other games. Toby Bedford, Jev, the number 1 pressure play inside forward 50 at the moment. I'm telling you what, he tackles like a madman.
Yeah.
So he had the 15 disposals. He was incredible when it came down to it towards the back end. They needed to lock it in. He was insane. And also, Jev, our man, Binger Daniels, kicked a clutch goal inside the forward pocket. I'll have to send it to Jev. The wind was blowing a gale. He started it. So if you're looking at the goals on the left-hand side, he started it outside the point post.
Yeah.
Drop punt, and it curved all the way in. He was incredible. He had another 17 disposals, 1 goal, 1. Jev, they have a lot of flair about them. Oh. They just go. They ball hunt inside. They've got – wait till they get what's his name back in? Jesse Hogan.
Yeah.
Another good forward. Riccardi probably goes out unless they can find a spot for him. But, Jev, unbelievable. Also, just some quick stats on that one. Lockie Whitfield, Jev, 36 disposals. He was paying $3.45. What a game. Also, we had Bailey Dale, Jev, 37 disposals.
What did he pay for 35?
Huh?
What did he pay for 35?
35. Bailey Dale was $4.20. Libba, 35 again. $2.40.
What form is he in?
Oh, mate, he's unbelievable. You had Treloar had 34. He was at $2. Canelio had 34. He was for 30. He was at $2.45.
And what did Treloar pay to kick 2 snags?
I'll go back to that.
And what did Tim English pay for 2 and 25 as well?
Yeah, Tim English for 2 goals was $6.50.
Yes.
Treloar for 2 goals was $9.
Yeah, geez, there was some money to be made in that game. Everyone was getting a lick of the ice cream.
So I actually said the other guy's wrong. Sorry, Bailey Dale was $12. Sorry, Jeff, for 35. and Lockie Whitfield was 975.
Oh, there was some money to be had in that game.
I always thought I've bet on those games before, and it's been very under.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was a lot of stoppages. It was windy, and then so obviously
Yeah, I remember
Whitfield's got to work.
Pros Dogs early in the year was a massive, just like it was a multi-killer. No
Yeah.
one was hitting what they were usually hitting. Oh, fucking hell. What a performance. I can't get over it. Anyway, next game. Gold Coast beat the shit out of the Lions and opened them up like a can of worms by 41 points. The Gabba Heroes go to Super Gen away from home. Who kicked the first in this game? What?
It was Hugh McCluggage, Jev, 31 clams.
That would have been nice. We're both going to say the same thing here. You go first. Let's talk about Took.
Mate, this is the most underrated part of any team if you want to shut down a man. It is a man that can tag someone and also someone that has the balls, Jev. I reckon not everyone wants to tag for two reasons. One, because they're obviously really selfish and they want to get their own ball. But I reckon people are scared to touch other people and like they don't want the other people to bite back. I told you at the start. So we lost this multi because we needed Lockie Neal for 25. Tuke Miller, he's just back in the side. He's like, I'm taking him. I'm the captain. I'm going to look after him. Every contest, two hands shoving Lockie Neal, pushing him, running him in through contest. Lockie Neal had two handballs in the first quarter, not one impact. He still got into it towards the back end of the ground, 17 disposal, but they were absolutely run off their legs. Tuke Miller had 29 of his own. He's so fit, so confident in himself. He can run off and go get his own footy. If there's a turnover, he's that fit. He gets back to Lockie Neal in time. And he was pushing him. And have a guess who else was going through with him? The other veteran, David Swallow. Every other contest, if I think Tuke went to go tie up his shoelace, and then there's David Swallow just getting into him, laughing and pushing at him. And they're like, we're into your head. We're smashing you guys. Tuke Miller is one of my favourite players in the league. Obviously came third in the Brownlow last year. We fucking love him, Jev. What a player. He makes such a difference to this side. It just gives a chop out to Anderson and Rao.
Yeah, 100%. I saw on Twitter, I saw two things on Twitter. First was apparently Tuke Miller knocked on Stephen King's door during the week and said, I want Lockie Neal.
Did he?
Yeah. And he goes, I'm taking him this week. And then I also saw on Twitter, Lockie Neal's just booked himself in a heavy tag for the rest of the season because they were ruthless on him. They punched the fuck out of him and then they just were horrible with the Lions. And it shows the impact of Ashcroft as well, doesn't it? Like, no more Ashcroft. You tag Lockie Neal, and all of a sudden you lose by 41 points. Gold Coast had their way with the Lions. They were scoring goals however they wanted, from the back half, from clearances, from forward stoppages, from center clearances. However they wanted to kick goals, they were kicking them on the lines. Harris Andrews looked irrelevant. They were just going around him. It was so impressive, and it was. I know they're two different sides, gathering away, and this always happens with the Lions. When they get away from home, we sort of go, oh, they'll win this week, they'll change. Then they go back to the Gabba, they smash the best team in the comp, and you're like, oh, they're the best. But this has to be something. It's definitely not nothing. They got opened up. I can't wait to hear David King talk about it on the Means test tomorrow with Jared, and he'll say, oh, Gold Coast just beat him up and opened him up like I haven't seen before.
They smashed. I can't get a read on some teams. I was still like, nah, Brisbane are one of the four best sides. And I'm just like, fuck, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not like, if you can get someone to just commit to a tag and you fucking, like Lockie, I get it. Not everyone's Tuke Miller. Not everyone can do that role. And I thought Jasper Fletcher, Jev, he's been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks. I thought maybe he's really skillful. I'm like, maybe he can come in with that Ashcroft role. Got subbed out, Jev. 9 disposals.
Oh,
you got subbed out in the last quarter. You only had the 9 disposals. He did not get near it. And it's just, Hugh McCluggage was keeping him in it, Jev, for a long part of the game. Like, he was having a crack, but they were just absolutely dismantled. And it's good. Like, that's the Suns. And, you know, I was even posting our group chat. It must be so annoying for, like, someone like Stuart Dew because that's not coach. Like,
I know.
We'll touch on Ben King. Like, he fucking kicked 5. Like, that's where the fuck does that come from? Like, that's not coaching.
He hadn't kicked a goal in like 5 weeks. Yeah. What the fuck? So he kicks 5. Another thing I reckon. What I was going to say. I tell you what I hope. Well, I just don't. I don't like the Lions that much for some reason. I don't know why. I just don't love them that much. But so now Gold Coast have tagged Lockie Neal and they've fucked him up. I hope he doesn't get tagged again for the rest of the home and away because he's that good of a player. If he keeps getting tagged, they'll figure out how to win with him getting tagged. He'll start going. They'll work it out. But remember last year, Melbourne had fucked up the Lions for like 10 straight games that bullied them. And then in that semi-final, Jared Berry put the hard tag on Clary, and it looked like Melbourne weren't ready for it. And then they beat him that night because Melbourne weren't prepared for it. So I'm hoping all the top four sides have just seen the blueprint on how to beat the Lions, but now it gets put away. And I'm hoping the Lions play fucking West Coast next week or saying, no one tags Neil. They beat him by 100 points, but when it comes to that first final, better believe a big body is going onto Lockie Neal and wearing him like a glove, and Brisbane better be ready for it sort of thing.
You almost bet like they were willing to give away a few free kicks at the start, and they were pushing and shoving, and that's what Carlton were almost doing. Like we gave away some stupid 50s, but we'll just sometimes you got to get under the nose of teams and just be like, we're gonna fucking come at you with everything tonight. Like we don't care.
If I was a coach, I would say I don't care about a downfield free kick in the first quarter, even if it ends up in a goal. I want you to show we're here to be physical tonight. Like if you're hitting hard and it's just a smidge late, so you're not hitting in the head and getting reported for 3 weeks, but 1 or 2 downfield free kicks, but we're fucking setting a tone in the first quarter, how physical we're going to be. And even, Pat Cripps tackling Dacos with like 30 seconds to go. Here you go, young fella, just buried him. Like setting that tone early. Lockie Neal did not like it, did he?
No. Well, I think a lot of those players think that you're sort of going to shake hands and see at the end.
Yeah.
No one wants to be tagged. Like we play with a mate, Charlie. I hope he's listening, Chuck, because I fucking love you. You give him a flick in the ear, he'll cry. But I'll tell you what, Jeff, on a footy field, he was tough. But he pretty much got tagged from under 9s to... Yeah. And, like, some games, not that it really got... Like, where you play with him and you're like, 3 or 4 guys are bumping him, like, every contact. You're like, it takes a toll on people eventually.
Yeah.
Like, especially when they haven't... If you've got a whole team, but like, David Swallow was just into him. Took was into him. Like, not even, but like, 2-handed shoves in the chest. I think Took, if you see his Insta... Posted a photo. He's like, it was the WWE. He has him, and then I think Lockie Neal's flipping him over his shoulder. Like they were wrestling. They were going for it. It was fucking good. Ben King, Jev kicked 5 goals. That was paying $26. Obviously, because he hasn't got near it in weeks. Some big touches, Jev. Like I said, this can't be coaching. I saw him play at the start of the year. Played about 4 or 5 games. Could barely get over 20. I think he got 19 once. And a couple games at 13, 11 touches. But Sam Flanders, this is the sort of stuff, Jev, that he did at VFL level. He had 32 disposals. That was paying $3. Dunkley, Jev, as well. He's having a pretty good year. 30 disposals was $2.90. Noah Anderson, Jev, 29 disposals. He is having one hell of a season. That was still pretty short. $1.55 and also a snag. But Touk Miller, Jev, he won his 4th Marcus Ashcroft medal. He's just one of those guys that takes it home, and he was at 25 disposals, 220.
And then, Gold Coast are on when Anderson and Rao both kick a goal, and they both kicked a goal. What were they anytime? They both would have been at $3.
Both for goals. Noah Anderson was...
He's usually about 220, 230.
203, and Matt Rao was 325.
Yeah, I love when those two kick goal. And they celebrated with each other. They had a little celebration, so I love that. Good. Next game, fucking up the Suns. Fuck the Lions. Next game, Essendon Swans. It was like, as I said, you remember once a year, Darcy, you'd have your primary school fete. The primary school fete would come to town. It was the annual primary school fete. This was the annual Swans beating the Bombers. It happens every year. You can set your fucking watch to it. Every year we pump these bricks, and I love it every fucking year, Darcy. We beat them again by 2 points. Didn't feel like 2 points. I felt like we absolutely smashed them, but it was 2 points. And the Bombers did show some in the last quarter to get it back to within 2 points. But I thought like we absolutely smashed them. Who kicked the first?
Cole Langford, Jeff.
Cole Langford, yeah. That was in about 10 seconds, actually. I wasn't even watching it.
Now, I had this on my laptop, Jeff, but I'll let you talk about it. I had the showdown on the actual commentary. Only had this one on the laptop without, because I obviously want to list the other one. I'll let you talk about this one.
First I want to, it was a pretty open game of footy under the lid. Like, it was goal for goal. Like, the Swans don't usually play. So it was 10 goals to 7 goals at halftime. 5 goals to 5, like 10 goal first quarter, 5 goals to 5 goals. They were just opening up, kicking good goals. Everyone was scoring, like running and gunning. Like it was good footy to watch. It was end to end footy. It's not usually the Swan sort of footy, but Joel Amati kicked 3 in the first quarter. I reckon. Like he was on fire. He kicked them all in Levert. He kicked 2 in the first quarter and 2 in the second quarter. Had 4 at half time. But I know, like, people are judging the Swans on the year they've had, but if you actually judge them on about the last 5 weeks, they're back to playing as good as footy as any team in the comp. And they've got their ball movement back, and I'm pretty sure I heard in the last month they're moving the ball the best in the comp, and that's what they built their game on last year. When, yeah, really we need you need contests to win premierships, but I know where our ball movement can be the best team in the comp, and we look back. We looked Goulden, Warner, like Parker, Mills, all playing well. The forward line's working. Heaney's playing well again. Papley's playing well again. All our role players like Lloyd, Braden Campbell, Harry Cunningham, Ollie Florent, not household names, Justin McInerney, Rowbottom, they're all back into a bit of form. So now those where you could say the Swans have, 3 A graders, then 19 B graders who were basically playing like B plus graders last year to make the grand final, but then we're playing like C graders at the start of this year, and that's why we're going bad. They're back to being B graders, and everyone's sort of playing their role again. And we just look back, and I personally thought we absolutely smashed the Bombers. Bomber supporters will probably see it differently, but we did, like, Papley did kick a bit of a lucky goal to put us about 8 points in front. That was game over, that goal, but then they got this lucky out in the full, and Big Jai Menzies kicked this little left foot snap. It was a nice goal.
There's only 6 seconds to go,
6 seconds to go. And I was a little worried as the ball went back to the centre that they would get one big entry. Big Peter Wright would clunk one. But it did feel like the Swans won this game quite easy. Yeah, the Bombers came back from the clouds. What were we up by? We were up by 25 points at three-quarter time and only won by 2. So credit to the Bombers, they came back. But we kicked 1 goal 4 in the last quarter to their 5 goals 3. So we missed a couple. But if you were to get out my pyramid right now, Das, so as we said, the pyramid is off the current form you're in, but it's also what you've done in the comp and stuff.
Yes.
I've got Errol Goulden on the bottom tier. Where do you reckon his honest ceiling is? Like, where could you see him ending up in the pyramid? Because he is in as good a form as any player in the comp.
This year?
By the end of this season with his current form.
I just don't. I can see him on the 3rd tier. I don't think you can't put him in front of...
No, he's not. No, I agree. I've got him bottom tier. He's not with Bont, Dacos, Toby Grant, Tracker.
I think he could be 3rd. I remember saying weeks ago to you, like when we were talking about it, I'm like, he's easily your best player in your team. Like, you're most important. Like, he's getting multiple 30 touches, and if he's kicking a few goals a game, like... But it's only that when he gets the ball, he's not just an accumulator, Jeff. Yeah. He's an absolute surgeon. Slices, and he just murders teams.
37 disposals at 86% efficiency, and he had 24 kicks. So basically, all of his kicks hit targets. So his thing is, so he's had 725 meters gained on 37 disposals at 86% efficiency and a goal. Like, his touches are golden.
They are.
They're not
golden, they're golden.
Yeah, they're golden. He's basically doing he's honestly doing what Nick Dacos is doing right now. He just hasn't done it all season. He's done it for about 10 weeks. But he gets a lot of ball. He damages, like, he kills you with the ball, and his meters gained. He makes everyone better. He doesn't miss targets. Like, it's just the Swans aren't top of the ladder or, the big marquee that Collingwood is. But his season, he's an All-Australian lock. He has to be.
It's him and Josh on the wings, 100%.
100%. They're the locks.
A few of the markets, Jeff. Cole Langford for 5 goals. He was at $21. Peter Wright for 4 was at, whoopsies, 4 was $4.25. Joel Amati, Jeff, the Amati party, your man, he's paying $21 for 4.
I fucking love Joel Amati.
Sammy Wicks
kicked 3, and he missed the easiest goal of the night. 10 metres out directly in front. He missed a sitter to put the game away.
So his last 5 games, Jev, he hasn't registered 1 goal. He's kicked 3. That's at $19. A couple for 2 goals, which were pretty short. But then we'll get on to the touches, Jev, because there was a couple of big fucking
Merritt
performances.
had
Obviously,
39.
yeah, so you had Zach Merritt for 39, which is 425. Goulden for 35. I guess he had 37. That's at $7. Who else do we have? Jake Lloyd, what was he paying for 31? $7. That's good. Darcy Parish, 25, $1.21, and then it's pretty short after that.
Yeah.
So those are the bigger
Braden
marks.
Campbell. What did Braden Campbell play for 25?
Braden Campbell paid
I mean, that's 5-1, I reckon.
$9.75.
Yeah, there you go. That's a nice league. He's the other kicker on our other wing. It's usually Goulden running down one wing. They leave Campbell on the other. He's a beautiful leg. Hell of a win by the Swans. We are now on 38 points. We're 4 points out of the top 4, 4 points behind Carlton. You just cannot drop a game, can you? Like, all of a sudden, I can't remember who the Swans are. Oh, we got the Giants next week. We beat the Giants, you lose to St Kilda, we pinch your spot in the 8. Like, you'll be absolutely shattered.
Jev, you look at everyone's run home. There is not an easy game.
There's no certainties in this league right now. It's absolutely fucked. It's making it so exciting. And it makes, you'd think like, you and me have done this pod every round since round 1. We do 3 a week. Hook, line, and sinker, the 100K and this. And I'm getting more and more excited every week about doing them.
100%.
So that was your primary school fate. That was the annual Swans beating the Bombers game wrapped up. And we'll see it again this time next year, Daz, when we do it again. Because we beat them every fucking year, Daz. Next game, the showdown. Oh my God, the Crows do it again for the second time of the year. They win the showdown by 47 points. I can't wait to get into part of this game that I spoke about in the 100K. Talk to me, Daz, because I was mainly watching Swans Essendon, so
I thought
you were watching this game.
So Ben Keys, Jev, kicked the first at 21-1. I'll just talk about one thing at the end before I jump into the game. Jev, this is one thing that I really want the AFL to try and bring in a lot more. Obviously, me and you, we love our college football, so American football. We love our NFL. At least if you win your conference championship in the NFL, you sort of have a bit of a title match. You get the hat, you get the trophy. Same thing in college. So wherever, depending on where you finish, everyone pretty much gets a bowl game. So all the top teams, and then they all have their own little grand final. It makes it so much more exciting. I know Carlton Collingwood had the Peter McCallum Cup. Didn't really the rivalries there, but it didn't really mean much. I would love every single team against they have one rival, and it means so much, just like it does the showdown. Because at the end of this game, I'm telling you, when they had the trophy, I'm sorry, I can't remember what it's called. Jordan Dawson had it, and the whole team was standing around in a huddle. And as Jordan Dawson comes over, jumps in, everyone's going nuts. Everyone had photos with the trophy after the game, and it makes it so good. Like, can you imagine if you just had that one game and it means so much? I just think that's what the AFL is missing a little bit more, and it gives chance for a team, whether it is a West Coast Freo, like your chance, like to hold a bit of silverware. It's like, we got them over it this year. I just think it's something that they can try and ramp up the game a little bit more, because you watch the show, like, I'm jealous of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I thought Carlton Collingwood was the biggest rivalry. Like, watching the showdown, like, it is so good to watch. Anyway, Jev, that's my 2 cents on it. I just think that that's what they can do to ham up the games a little bit more. Jordan Dawson was absolutely insane in this game, Jev. Talk about surgeons by foot. 34 disposals. I don't know how Matt Crouch has been in the twos. He tried to get a trade last year, and we just thought the coaches hated him. They would not play him, even though he was getting 30, 40 disposal games in the twos. Hit a career best game, 32 disposals, a shit ton of clearances. It was just a smashing, Jev, and I'll let you probably touch on a little bit. I'm thinking that's who you're going to talk about, but your man, my cousin's cousin, Tex Walker, 7 goals, 4. I just want to touch on, I think this is one of my favourite goals of the year. He had a leer from 55 metres out. He goes, sells candy, comes back onto his left foot, drop punt from 50 metres out.
It's sweet.
It was as sweet as Adam Gilchrist 6 on Monty Panesar at the Wacker. Like, it was absolute perfection.
Oh, so, yeah, I called on the 100K. I like Tex to win. He was 6 goals behind Charlie going into the round. And I like Tex to win the Coleman medal. at 5-1 because he gets West Coast last round. And I basically said Charlie and him will kick about 3 each game, and then Tex will kick 10 at the last round of the year and pinch it from him, basically. And he'll win by 1 or 2 goals. Especially if Adelaide can't make the finals, they'll just feed Tex. He'll kick 10, 11, he'll win the Coleman. So then Charlie kicks 6 on Friday night, and I go, well, there goes that take. Like, if Tex kicks 3 in the showdown, even 10's not going to get him to catch. And he comes out and kicks 7, and now he's only 7 goals, 4 and 20 touches. And now he's only 5 behind Charlie Curnow, and he's in some serious form when they play at Adelaide Oval. What a player. Like, he signed a new deal, and the one thing, like, you can, whatever you think about him as a bloke and some shit he's done off field and stuff, no one can deny how sweet he hits a football off his boot. He's the purest kick in the AFL. It is beautiful to watch. Left foot, right foot. His set shot is so smooth and just, it's good to watch.
Looks like he just pokes it.
Oh, he just hits it flush every time. It is a pleasure to watch, isn't it?
I would dream to be able to kick a ball that far. Genuinely.
7-4. What did he pay for 6 stars?
6 goals, $13.
Oh,
so it's still a bit cool. I thought it would have been a bit more than that.
And 20? What did he pay for 20?
20 disposals. He was. He's down in the bottom. $10. So
$10. And then Dawson 30, Crouch 30, Butters 30, Miller 30. What did they all pay for 30s?
So for 30 disposals, so Dawson was $290, Matt Crouch was $390, Wayne Malira, you couldn't back him for 30.
Really?
Who else we have? Butters, pretty short, $290.
And
Laird was pretty good. Rosie was pretty good, like in stage at the start, but they couldn't get anything go. It was like a little bit fumbly, but fuck, they just made them pay. They made them pay. And Rory Sloane took the funniest hanger in the last minute on Boak. He comes on the ground as the sub, Jeff. He comes up, almost hands in the back, one knee slightly on Boak's lower back. Both feet hit the ground, and then he marks it.
On Boak's ground.
You remember how they did that charity match, the Slowdown?
Yeah.
With all the old Port and Adelaide players, not the Showdown. That's where he'll be playing next year. He'll be playing in the Slowdown with Modra. But, Jeff, it was an unbelievable win by Adelaide, and I still can't get a read on them.
2-0. They are the best team I've ever seen that probably won't make finals. But they've kept their finals hopes alive, as everyone did this weekend. They're only a game out of the 4 as well. They've got a tough run home. They've kept their finals hopes alive. They are one of the best sides I've ever seen. Look at the top 4.
Fucked. They demolished us.
They've lost to Collingwood by a point and 2 points. They've beaten Port Adelaide twice. They smashed the Lions at home. They lost to Melbourne by 2 points. They beat St Kilda. They went 0-2 against the Giants. They smashed Carlton. Like, they are so good. They are so fucking good. I just don't know how they're not going to be playing finals. But anyway, I absolutely love them. And there's another, we're talking about chinks in the top team's armour. So Collingwood, we don't know if they're tough enough. Lions, you tag Lockie Neal, you stop him. All of a sudden, are they them? And then Port Adelaide have a suspect back line. And when you've got, I know Rankin didn't play, but when you've got Tex, Fogarty, Rankin, all these like gun forwards down there.
Adams is playing well.
Yeah, all of a sudden you go, fuck, you look a bit suspect down there, Port Adelaide. Like anyone can kick a goal on you blokes, I reckon.
Do you reckon Ryan Burton feels like an idiot?
What did he do?
Yeah, remember he's like, we absolutely hate Adelaide. Can't wait to go out there, get the 4 points and we'll get that one back and move on.
It's a peanut. Just worry about the Port Adelaide are that far ahead of themselves. Anyway, they've lost 3 in a row. They're still a good side, but you just worry for them. You worry they've peaked too early like teams have done before.
I was certain they'd win this game. I'm like, they can't lose 3 in a row. Now they do. Now they go down to Geelong next week, and that is a fucking huge game.
And all of a sudden, now they're on 56 points. Brisbane and Melbourne both on 52. All of a sudden, Melbourne have the best percentage, just a bit behind Brisbane. There's a world Melbourne can finish second all of a sudden.
I'm starting to think that they do now.
If they pop into second, it's just going to be a Collingwood-Melbourne grand final, isn't it? 2 finals at the G in the first weekend into 2 prelims at the G. Oh, God. Stop it. Stop it at once. Oh, that would be good. Next game, Hawthorns and Kilda. The Saints get it done by 29 points after jumping the Hawks in the first quarter. Who kicked the first in this game, Das? I remember watching this. Caminiti, I think it was.
It was
Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore kicked the first. I will tell you what he paid. You talk about what you saw in this game, Das.
I'll tell you what, Jev. I thought that the Hawks were going to show up a little bit more. They kicked the first 2 goals of the game, Jev, pinched one back, and then the Saints finished the quarter kicking 9 goals too. What the hell? This is where if the AFL needed to bring in a timeout rule, the Hawks needed a timeout.
They needed
Like,
a timeout.
They needed Sam Mitchell just, hey, can we get one here? Just one here.
Stop
We get a quick,
momentum.
we get a 5-minute break. Like, they needed quarter time more than they needed oxygen, Jev.
And
then
if Sam Mitchell didn't call it, David King was about to call it from the commentary box. He was commentating the game like, alarm bells have to be ringing in Hawthorn. He's like, they're getting smashed at the contest. They're getting opened up through the middle and they're getting smashed in their back line. Like, yeah, it was, it got ugly. They fought their way they fought their asses off back into the game and got it back to 11 points at 3/4 time. And I know for a fact the Saints supporters would have been shitting themselves. I know you and me were getting a bit bullish on the Hawks. I was ready to go absolutely ham on the Saints, but they did run out the game well. The Saints kicking 19 goals 8 is a bloody good effort. It's not easy because David King was saying they've had 4 games this year kicking under the score of 55, and they kicked 55 in the first quarter. So you got to be happy if you're a Saints fan. Like, the Hawks aren't easy to beat. I know they're third last on the ladder, but they've beaten some good sides this year. They're not an easy beat. They've got some bloody good players. So that was a good win by the Saints.
can we confirm right now, Jev? I know we've been saying it for a while. Professional forward
Oh, God.
Luke Bruce is now in the top 5 officially small forwards of all time. You can make up what order you want to put him in, but I'm telling you, from pretty much from our era, but we got Stephen Milne, Eddie Betts is in there, Toby Green's in there, Silrioli's in there, and Luke Bruce is in there.
Yeah.
Well done, Luke Bruce. He kicked another 6 goals today. I looked at it because the thing is, if you look at Stephen Milne, he played 275 games and kicked like 560 goals. And you're like, holy fuck, that is so many. Looked at the thing today. I just wanted to have a quick look. This was Luke Bruce 276 game, and now he's kicked 500 and I think 18 goals.
Yeah.
That is so many when you've been playing the 4th fiddle for so long in that side. Ruffy, then you have Gunston, then you got Franklin. You've got all these other guys in that team, like Cyril in that side. He's like the 5th fiddle guy.
Yeah.
So he's always would have been just getting the scraps, or if not, he's giving off goal assists. And then to still have that amount of goals, professional forward, Jev, you can't keep him down. He did it against Port Adelaide. He's done it to the Blues for years. You just need to appreciate greatness. Luke Bruce is an absolute superstar. Top 5 small forwards of all time.
You know when you're going out for dinner, Das, and you're absolutely starving and you're on your way to dinner, and you're like, you start looking at the menu and you're like salivating thinking about your dinner. That was Luke Bruce when he saw Jimmy Webster come to him. He was salivating. Jimmy Webster just did not know how to play him. He was kicking, he was leading up kicking goals. He was getting out the back kicking goals. He was marking on him. He was doing however he wanted to kick a snag. Luke Bruce was kicking goals on Jimmy Webster.
Jimmy Webster. You're kidding me.
So the Saints are 5th on the ladder. I can't fold a team that's 5th on the ladder in this league right now. So they got the Blues next week. I'm not going to say anything bad about the Saints. I'm not going to say anything mean. They've won 2 in a row. They've beaten North. They've beaten Hawthorn. I can't say anything bad about them right now. I think
you're happy with how they're going in their opponents. You can't say anything. 2 in a row.
5th on the ladder. Good on them. They've got the Blues next week, then the Tigers, then the Cats all at Marvel Stadium. So they should make finals and win a final from here, I would have thought. Das, what do you reckon?
Yeah, no, it's shaping up like that, Jev.
So Luke Bruce paid 46-1 to kick 6 stars. $46 would have been delicious for 6, wouldn't it?
We were looking at him at the start of the game as well, weren't we?
Oh, fucking oath we were. Dan Butler for 2 was 4-1. For 4 was 13-1.
we touch on, I said it the other week, because I like having him in multis against shit teams, but Brad Crouch is just your homeschool bully, Jev.
Yeah.
Like, I know Hawthorn's midfield's good. I like him, but for some reason against the other players around the ground, he goes to town. Pretty sure he kicked 2 goals in the first quarter. Finished the game. It has to be a career game. 32-3.
Yes, I'm looking here. You can only get him for 1 goal. He paid $4.20 for 1, and he kicked that 1. And then for 30 disposals, he's usually like a nice sort of, who's he, Brad Crouch? $2.95 for that. Yeah. And one more, Will Day kicked 2. So 100K was still alive going into this game. Will Day was $3.60 for just the 1. Still alive going into this game. All we needed was Will Day for 25. He ended up on 22. We were absolutely shattered. Obviously, some of the other leagues didn't win, but it would have been so nice to be going into the next game still alive, but it just wasn't meant to be. Wangani Malira he had 33. He paid $4.10 for 33. So good win by the Saints. Absolutely opened up the Hawks. Sam Mitchell was fucking losing his shit. So that's another tick. They're 5th on the ladder. Like, good on them. I'm harsh on them. So I can't fault a team that's playing finals this year. Swans aren't right now. They are. So good on them. Next game. This was a fucking belter because there's nothing better than Sunday Arvo footy at the G. Richmond versus Melbourne. The D's overrun them in the last quarter by 32 points. Who kicked the first in this game? Was it Camden McIntosh? Or was it Van Ruin? Jacob Van Ruin kicked the first. Yeah, your man, Big Van Roo, kicks the first. I said a hell of a game, does.
I said on the pod, Jev, I said Van Ruin will be their most important player up forward if they want to win a premiership because, Jev, he has the best hands in this side. He showed glimpses of it today. He's much better than Ben Brown. Fritsch is a little bit better on the ground, a little bit quicker. You need to kick it out in front of him. This kid, Jev, he would have been the king of Jack in the Pack. You put the ball on his head and he will mark that football. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone would have watched this game, so I don't think we really need to dive into the X's and O's of it too much. They just got it done in the end. But this is a headache, Jev, if you are trying to pick out the Brownlow votes because who gets it? Like, this is my honest question. Harrison Petty's kicked 6. You've got Petrarca, I thought was incredible, 29 disposals, 1 goal, 3, but his touches around the ground were great. I'm personally invested. Max Gawn was fucking insane.
28 disposals, 40 hit outs.
But the heart and soul of that team, Jev, who may not even get a vote, which is criminal, Jack Viney is on one of the biggest patches of form.
Oh.
Like, he's carrying them in the midfield.
You fucking know, he's unbelievable. And we thought he was going to get subbed off. He shook off his shoulder injury. What about Dustin Munn kicked 3 goals, 2 and had 21. He was fucking good as well. Like, it was a game for good players to play well, and they all did. Van Roon kicked 4, Melksham 4. Like, everyone had a lick of the ice cream. This was a bloody good game. This felt like a big final, this game, and it delivered like a big final.
When you said Jakey Milkshake, you have to give credit to him. He was in and out of that side, and especially for a vet, if they get dropped, you can so easily just crack the shits, kick the can down the road and say, fuck this, I'm not getting another game. He just goes back to the twos and stays ready.
Yeah.
He just kicks goals, he gets ready, comes in, kicks the winner against Brisbane. He's kicking goals, he's popping up, he's doing his thing, and he disrupts, and he's a little bit of a tough nut. Like, he definitely holds onto the tackles a little bit longer, pushes him in the ground a little bit more, tries to get him fired up. He's a good player. Like, I don't know if he'll be playing for the remainder of the year. Like, do you bring in like a Spargo back in?
Yeah,
like
Melksham's in.
I like what he brings to the table.
So do I.
I really do. And what the hell does
this and stuff too as well?
What the hell does this mean for Grundy? Like,
he's not. He's done. Well, Fritsch comes back in. Clary comes back in. So it's going to be hard for Grundy to get in as well. Especially the play today.
Woden goes out. You'd think. Yeah. Taj Woden.
What was I going to say? Melksham, he was a 2021 premiership player, wasn't he? No, because Stephen May. No, are you sure? Because what did Stephen May say again to him?
He's like, at least I want a premiership or something.
Yeah, or they said we would have lost if you played or something, didn't they?
Yeah, yes.
That's right. At Ondricott, and then he punched the fuck out of it. That's right. Because you just, as you say, he just stays ready, stays hungry. He always plays well when he comes in the side, Melksham. And right now, he's impossible to drop. He looks like he's hungry, ready to win a final, ready to win a flag. Fucking happy
100%.
for him. I'll give
Yeah,
you some
no,
odds, Das. So Petty you could only get for 4. He was 34-1 for 4. Big
Yeah.
Man Ruin was 16-1 for 4. Melksham was $12.50 for 4, which is unbelievable. Dusty was $6 for 2. And then
good money.
how good was Gorn? Oh, he's a good player. And we had Gorn to kick a goal in the 100K. Do you see he had a snap around the body right at the end, set shot, didn't kick it. I was flat as. We only lost by 4 legs this week.
Who would you give the votes to? Petty has to get 3, doesn't he, for 6?
Yeah, you'd think so.
But Gorn and who else? Like, does Petrarca get 1?
Yeah, I know you've got a bit of Petrarca bias because you've financially invested, but you and me were watching. We're like, Petrarca is dominating this game. Yeah. So Viney was $2.40 for 30. Petrarca was $2.80 for 30, and Gorn for 25 was $4.90. My votes, I reckon Gorn gets the 1. You got to say Petty kicking 6 gets 3, and then you got to pick between Viney and Petrarca for the 2. See, they say Viney's game was AFL rated, fantasy points rated better than Petrarca's. But watching Petrarca, he was unbelievable. His touches are in great parts of the ground. So, I don't know. Hopefully, if a listener can let us know what they think.
I might hold on to because it's very hard to gauge, but some umpires really rate Petrarca. It's like, in those early games, if he can pinch a few votes, I might hold on to my bets, Jeff. I don't think I'll cash out.
You might as well. And then the final game of the round. Let's get this one over and done with quickly. Oh. The game of the Spastics, Eagles versus North. You and me on Hook, Line and Sinker had a $20 bottle of wine that we're going to enjoy on the pod this Friday on this game. The Eagles get it done by 5 points. I tip the Eagles. You tip North Melbourne. Fucking good on the Eagles for breaking their win streak. Disappointing for the fucking Roos to lose another one. Talk to me.
North are so bad. Like, this game was... We watched a cracker just before. We watched Carlton Collingwood. We watched GWS Western Bulldogs. We have watched a showdown, Jev. There's been some good games. This was nasty.
Carlton Collingwood, yeah.
This was nasty, Jev. Paul Curtis kicked 4 in a row.
Yeah, that was
good. Nick Larkey, Jev, this is not his fault. I had him for 5 goals. They cannot, their forward 50 entry, people won't even watch this game. Their forward 50 entry is absolute disgusting. Like, on his head, behind him, don't even look for him. And, Jev, they finally clawed back. This is all I want to mention about this game. This has to be player awareness. They're 1 goal down, or 5 points down, so they can pinch the victory. 90 seconds to go. Shanahan kicks out from fullback. What do you reckon you do, Jev? Do you zone, or would you go man-to-man?
Go man-on-man and fucking win the ball back.
So they play zone, and West Coast just chip it round for a minute and 15 seconds and then kick one down the line. That's the game.
It was so frustrating to watch.
Just go man-to-man. Create a... They're just standing in space, and they're just waiting for their 15 seconds or whatever it is, and they just pick another target.
Fucking hell. So how's this? I'm just looking here. So in the second quarter, at the 5-minute 40 mark, Paul Curtis behind. 8-minute 30 mark, Paul Curtis goal. 11-minute 30, Paul Curtis goal. Then it's a Tristan Jerry goal. Then it's 18-minute mark, Paul Curtis goal. Then 30-minute mark, Paul Curtis goal. He kicked 4 goals by himself in the second quarter, and that 4 goals paid 46-1. So his second quarter paid 46-1 dollars. Geez, that would have been nice to know before the game. He was going to go nuts like that.
Yeah, they're shit. I feel like...
You got to feel for him. Kane Corns is going to miss him on the radio in the morning.
Nope.
He thinks they're fucking horrible, and they are. What's his name? She's 31. Davis Uniac had a goal and 30. Like, bloody...
Luke Davis-Uniacke played really well. I thought Sheasel played really well as well. Like, those 2 guys can hold their head up. The rest of that team is not up to AFL standard. Like, Larky's a good player. I genuinely think that he just didn't get enough opportunity, I feel. But the Like Tim Kelly played really well, but fuck this.
Brett Ratton doesn't do much to keep his spot. He's just gone on a losing streak. I know they're Harry Sheezel paid $2.30 for 30, and Luke Davis you paid $2.30 for 35. You had Dickie had Harry Sheezel for 30 in the 100K multi. That's a hell of a bet. That was a good tick. One of you had it in.
Thank you.
So I'm looking at the 100K DAS. So we had 4 X's.
That's it.
So Hawkins 2, tick, even before he did his hammy. Cornelio 25, tick. Bont 25, tick. Anderson 25. Franklin Void did his calf in the first quarter. Goulden 25, had 37. Dawson 25, Houston 20, Tex Walker 2, tick, kick 7. Mitch Lewis 2, Sicily 25, Will David 25, he had 22, so we were shattered.
Damn it.
On to the next game. Jacob Everett 2, Petrarca 20, Viney 25, Liam Baker goal, all ticks. Dan Rioli for 20, only had 16, he's been in good form, no good. And Max Gawn anytime. As I said, with 90 seconds to go, he had a good set shot and he fucking missed it. So that could have been another tick. And then you had Nick Larkey, the big Sulaki, for 5. He only kicked 2. Harry Sheezel for 31 and LDU for 25. God, there were some good legs. Like I'm just looking here. So we had Viney for 25. We turned that to 30. The Gawn leg doesn't need to be in. Petrarca for 20. We turned that into 25. The Rioli leg doesn't need to be in. You know, Mitch Lewis or Tex Walker, we turn it from 2 to 3. Then the Will Day leg doesn't need to be in. Jordan Dawson, you turn his 25 to 30. You turn Dan Houston's 20 to 25. You turn Errol Goulden's 25 to 30. Oh, and then Nick Larkey doesn't need to kick 5. He only needs to kick 2. We're this fucking close to us. It is coming.
Fuck me. Hey, it's been a long pod. Before we wrap it up, I just DM, they're coming in thick and fast. I asked for what is the best win of the weekend? What's the best one you've heard of? We had one here. He's an avid listener, Jev. He's in the Discord. I'll quickly touch on that. Willie Mack. Jev, he had a crossbreed multi. Couple of NFL legs, NRL legs in here. He had a 16-legger, Jev. He had $10 on it, paying 341 to 1. He won $1.4 thousand.
Jeez, that would have been
a nice little win. Hawkins 2, Stewart 20, Toby Green 2, Libert 25, Cogs 25, Dominic Young for an anytime try scorer, Charlie Cameron 2, Ainsworth goal, Noah Anderson goal, another try scorer, and then some other AFL legs. But, Jev, that is an absolute cracking multi. And also on the Discord, unbelievable. So we had 19 blokes in this. And ladies, sorry, I keep forgetting that we have ladies in the Discord. You guys pretty much, we go in the Discord, we talk about the bets. You guys help, or the guys in the Discord help us. Tell you what, Jev, we've got some unbelievable punters in there giving out some unbelievable legs. We missed about 4 multis by 1 leg, couple by a touch. I'm going to do a bit of a review on that. But we started with 284, finished the week at about $1,200. So it was good. It was good fun. So everyone gets a little bit more money back. Only 15 in. I think everyone gets about $64 back. So
yeah,
a bit of fun.
Live on the pod right now. Distribute everyone their $64.18, and we'll start it again next weekend. And anyone can join, basically.
Yeah, awesome.
Fucking oath. What a multi! I can't wait for you to do a review on this because it was a hell of a weekend. It was good fun, Ben, and we had good, solid multis that were good to watch. And we won 382 on the Hawthorn Security game, and then 837 of a multi cross between Hawthorn and then the Melbourne game. And then we were 1 Taranto possession off another $500. So it was just some seriously good betting. Can't wait to see the video you make and post on the Insta tomorrow. Hope more people join in this Discord next week because it's so much fun. The more money, because even though it's $15 to us and $15 to you, $15 to me, when we've got 150 on a multi, it feels like, and to win 600, it feels like it's your 600. Like, feels big. It's so exciting. It's so much fun for everyone. So it's not that much. Everyone can afford. I hope everyone can afford $15 if you can. It's so much fun to join. So let's go, Dad.
Well, those guys that won the 15, put in the 15, they've times their money by 4. So they got another 4 weeks worth of
exactly
having a bit of fun. And the thing is, everyone gets an input. We'll discuss it, and then we'll just.
Just before we go, with my $64, I have put on 2 future bet stars. Tell me what you think. I have $25 on Taylor Walker to win the Coleman. Taylor Walker Coleman, into Nick Dacos to win the Brownlow, into Melbourne to win the Premiership, to win $829. Not
It's
bad.
all definitely a chance.
Definitely a chance. Then I just took Tex into Christian Petrarca, $25 on that to win. That's Christian Petrarca Brownlow to win $408. And then I also took Tex into Bontempelli into Melbourne Premiership. So there's little 3 multis I put on there. So let's go with our cash we got back from the Discord this week. If I was you, you're gonna distribute yourself $64. Save yourself $15 for next week's Punters Club Draft, and then I want to see you bring a future bet on the Hook, Line and Sinker this Wednesday.
I'll have a look at it.
Let's go, bro. I'll catch you. It's been a long pod, hour and 10 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed. If it's too long, DM us, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you when we do Hook, Line and Sinker later in the week.